Hi Lianne.
Hello.
You've just released your new album, Blood. For this album you traveled to Jamaica. When?
It wasn't for the album.
No, but I mean before, okay. Yeah.
I travelled there and then continued writing and recording my album.
And when did you make the decision to travel to Jamaica and why?
I wanted to go on holiday with my mum and I had some time off. So I decided in Christmas 2013 that I would go in April 2014.
And what did this bring you for the album, traveling to Jamaica?
Well, it was more what it brought for me as a person, because my music, I believe, is very personal, and I can only really write about what I feel, and I do it only because I feel, and it makes me happy. So just to clear that up.
Yeah.
But I went away with my mum, like I said, on a holiday, and you know, it just struck me as such an amazing place, for one, but because my Jamaican side of me has always been so, you know, so close to me, and I was raised by my Jamaican grandparents, except in London. It just was really interesting to see where they came from, basically, and see the, you know, how to feel all the familiarity that I already had, but also it was completely unfamiliar, and to feel like a part of it, but also knowing that I'm actually quite separate from it because I'm from London as well.
Is there one thing that you saw over there or experienced that brought back some memories from your childhood that you can maybe share with us?
Yes, seeing my auntie, who I used to live with, and she used to do my hair when I was 5. Well, she was there when I was born and left when I was 5, to go back to Jamaica. And so she picked me up from the airport with my mum. And I was wondering if I was going to recognise her or if she would recognise me. But we recognised each other and we just cried.
And what places did you visit? Was it just...
Well, we went to the countryside first in a parish called Manchester, and the actual district is called Christiana, where they all kind of lived. And then I went to Kingston for 2 days because I met a producer called Stephen McGregor, and then I went to the beach for 7 days after that in Negril.
And when did you write a song over there when you were there?
I did. On the holiday I began a song.
And what song was it?
It's not on the album.
Okay.
But that was the first time that I'd met Stephen, and it was just to see if we would get on and see how it was to be in the studio with him. So I liked it so much that I went back for another trip to Jamaica, but only to be in the studio, which was like a couple of months later. And I recorded and wrote the song Midnight in Jamaica with Stephen.
And how many songs did you write over there that ended up on the album?
I only wrote Midnight that ended up on the album. We wrote other ones, but they're not on the album.
Is it for you, what inspired Midnight? Was it a line or maybe a feel or?
Well, I mean, I had the music, I was playing the guitar part because the chord progression I'd heard from an amazing songwriter called Robert Taylor, or Shay Taylor. So I was working with him like a few weeks previous, and we were in the studio, and he played me this thing, and I just thought it was amazing. But I couldn't really get into it, so I decided to interpret it with the guitar. So I moved a few things around, came up with this guitar part that you hear at the beginning of Midnight. And then when I went to Jamaica, I walked in the room to see Stephen, and this beat was playing. And I said, oh, I think I've got a guitar part that might go with that. So we built the song from these two elements. And then I just started hearing all the melodies, and we were trying to sing stuff over it. And it just built up very organically and naturally in just like a day. And then the lyrics, I think, for me, they represent confidence and freedom, I guess. So I think that's what it's about, and I just happened to feel like that in Jamaica, and that's what it gave me, I think. Just being, you know, in any kind of foreign country that you're not from, going there, it's almost like you had no past, in a way, so you can only just, you can be yourself even more than you normally would, if that makes any sense. Yeah. So I had that kind of feeling in me, that confidence. Also, I didn't know what was going to happen musically. It might have gone horribly wrong with Stephen, but actually it was amazing the way he does things and has an emphasis on just letting the music give you a great feeling, and if it gives you that, then you should carry on with it. And that's what we always tried to find, and that's what I think we found with that song. It's one of my favourites. What did you learn about yourself and your music while travelling and being there in Jamaica? Well, I learned, it was probably more to do with recognising the element in the music that you want to harness to take that further and let that become a song. So I don't know, I just kind of was letting it all wash over me, and I learned to just really relax in the studio. Basically, I learned that my favourite thing is to be relaxed, and I can only write properly if I'm just feeling totally at ease. Yeah. So there's that. And then about myself, well, like I said, I had that sort of newfound freedom feeling, and I felt like I could just do anything, because I didn't know those guys either, and I realised that, you know, that is my life, is that I just go around playing music with people, and I really embraced it, and I feel that I live that now, and that's what I want to do forever. Were you maybe thinking before you had this feeling that maybe you didn't want to do it forever? Or? I did want to do it forever, but it was, I don't know, when you reach a point where you can't think of anything to write about, or you run out of inspiration, you kind of just want to, I don't know, it becomes less enjoyable, because you know you have to make a song because you have to make an album. But I realised the fun in it and why I do it. I realised why I do it, basically. Did you reach that point when you, well, didn't have any inspiration to write a song, maybe? Yeah. Yeah? Yeah. Well, I get that a lot. You know, when you're on the road, for me personally, I can't write on the road because there's too many other things going on. You're rarely on your own. You can't really, I don't know, your whole focus of the day is getting ready for the show. So I don't know, for being out of the studio for so long, I kind of lost the flow of being in the studio. So once you get back into it, you kind of realise, oh yeah, I always did this, you know? So it's an interesting way to do the job. Can you, yeah. You said you wrote more songs in Jamaica that didn't end up on the album. Can you tell that they maybe the sound-wise or lyric-wise that they may be different from the songs that you wrote previously, or? I think the general overall feeling of the album is a lot to do with how I felt that time in the studio in Jamaica. I think I took it away with me and just really wanted to, I found kind of a way that I like to do it, and I want people to join me in that, whoever it is that I'm with in the studio, wherever it is. I want them to, you know, see it as I'm seeing it, and we can make it better together. So I don't know, I do hear it now in all the other songs, just that kind of freedom.
The album is called Blood. When during the recording of the album and the writing of the album did you settle upon this album title?
I liked the word from a long time ago, because I started writing a song that was going to be about my grandmother ages ago. But it never got finished. But I always remembered that the first word of it was blood, and I wanted to call the song Blood. But it kind of just stuck around, and I thought, I just really like that word. It felt like a strong thing to call it, and a one-word album title I wanted. And then I just happened to start writing songs about my family again once I had some time off. This is before Jamaica. But I don't know, it seemed to confirm it all after I went to Jamaica, because I went to New York after that and wrote the song Green and Gold, which talks about my Greek and Jamaican ancestry, but having been brought up in London, and it's like an autobiographical song. So that song is kind of the album title track, but it's not called Blood, but it's about what I think blood is about, which is my connection to my family.
So that, because you're having different backgrounds, your family is your blood?
Exactly.
Yeah. And what did you learn about your family during the recording and the writing process?
I became just, you know, really close with them again, basically, because I hadn't seen them for 2 years because I was touring. Also, you know, my older cousins were having children, so the family is growing. My parents are older now, so I feel like, I don't know, there was a phase where it was like they were looking after me, but now that I'm kind of matured, I feel like we have to look after each other now. Yeah. And I've always been very close with my grandparents. So this closeness has just only grown over this time.
Last question. You writing about your family, do you maybe hold back lyric-wise because it's maybe too personal or too confronting?
Yeah, I never really write in a way that I would just share information about them for no reason. So I try to write in a way that is, you know, just kind of focusing on my experience of my relationship with them. And just everything kind of through my eyes. Yeah. So yeah, or if it's a song to someone or for someone, I'd rather do that than make a lyric for no reason, just saying stuff about them.
Last question, is there maybe one family member that came up to you and talked to you about the lyrics of one specific song and said, well, I didn't know you thought about this way, or?
There was a song that didn't make the album, but I played it to my mother. She really liked it. And it was called Mother, funnily enough. And it was like all about how much I love her and my father, in short. But she cried when she heard it. So that's how I knew that she connected with it. And she loves the album and how it's turned out and everything.
And if she cries, what does it do to you?
Makes me probably cry. I cry way more than she cries, okay. So it's kind of amazing if she does.
Okay. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.